big part of WrestleMania weekend is WrestleCon. That's happening April 6th through the 8th at the Sheraton, New Orleans, featuring, how about this, Bully, over 200 wrestlers, including Steve Austin, Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, Edge, Sting, Ric Flair, our own Bully Ray, and somebody who's a huge part of not only WrestleCon, but obviously the WWE Hall of Fame 2018 class is the one and only Bill Goldberg. Bill, how are you today?
Great, gentlemen. How we doing?
Very good. How you doing, Bill?
Oh, man, just trying to stay dry out here on the West Coast, brother. Congratulations, man. I haven't talked to you since, but very happy for you, brother.
And I am very happy for you, too. Congratulations. It's going to be a fun night. Keyword, fun.
Yes. All I can say is with you and your partner and me involved, I think it's going to be fun. That's for sure. Not to mention everybody else.
I'm sure you're most excited because your kids are going to get to see this. I know your whole return to the WWE, one of the main reasons why you came back is you wanted your kids to see this, and I'm sure this is going to be a great night for you, for them, your whole family. So basically walk us through it. Like when you got the phone call, what did you feel? What does this mean to you?
Here's the deal, brother. I grew up, I was born in a football helmet, and I grew up aspiring to do only one thing, and that was play professional football. And my goal in life was to be in the NFL Hall of Fame. And unfortunately, those aspirations were cut short. I wasn't nearly good enough to play, let alone be in the Hall of Fame. But and I had to reassess my life. And wrestling had been a small part of my life as a kid. I wasn't the biggest wrestling fan in the world, but I did have fond memories of it. And I was presented with an opportunity. And my adage is this: no matter what you do, give it 110%. And even though it was something that it was extremely foreign to me, even though it was not a dream of mine initially, it turned into an obsession of mine, and it turned into a dream of mine to be the best at what I was currently doing. And to get an accolade reinforcing the positive aspects of your career, it's a huge honor. It's, to go in with guys like you and people who've done so much for the business, and to be in a hall where, so many people have been inducted that mean so much, that are our business. And, I don't feel worthy by any stretch of the imagination. I'm just greatly appreciative that the stars aligned and I, again, was in the right place at the right time.
You mentioned the NFL Hall of Fame, and somebody who listens to this show is Derek Brooks, and I was lucky enough to be a guest when he went into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and I just remember how emotional he was and how nervous he was before taking that stage and making his speech, and what's that going to be like for you? Like, are you going to have everything mapped out? Is it going to be off the top of your head? What's that going to be like once you reach that podium, WrestleMania weekend?
Well, it's going to suck because the worst thing, in my repertoire are promos. But, at the end of the day, man, it's not going to be a promo. It's going to be from my heart. It's an opportunity for me to take the stage again and have, that select audience, glued to every word that you say. And, it's a rare occurrence to be in the public and be in that setting and be out of character and be human and be yourself. And it's a huge advantage to that happening, and you have to take advantage of that. And, my journey is a storied journey. It's a different one. It's a completely different path than Bully took. It's a completely different path than 99.9% of the people have taken, and don't think for 1 second I'm not greatly appreciative of that path. And it's so much different compared to most everybody who's going in and who's been in. Like I said, I don't feel worthy of it. I'm just lucky that, I was in the right place at the right time again. I think maybe they're throwing some bones out the old WCW guys and making sure they're taken care of because, back in the Monday Night Wars, I mean, there was a huge competition going on. And I think we helped set the stage for the Monday Night Wars. WCW played a big part in it. So, like I said, I'm honored and privileged, and I don't feel worthy. But hey, at the end of the day, it gives me an opportunity to go up and thank all the people who've made it happen. I mean, this is an accolade given to Goldberg, but the reality is, there's a hell of a lot of people along the way that made it happen. And if it wasn't for those people, I wouldn't have the opportunity to be accepting this accolade by any means. So the people who, I don't know if there's many characters that success could be predicated towards the people that built the character more so than any other character out there, because my success was dependent upon the people that I was dancing with making me look good. And there were a lot of professionals along the way that did one hell of a job, and I'll forever be indebted for that.
And Bill, you just spoke about the path and the guys that help get you to where you are. Do you
you're one of them.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you are.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. But do you remember your very first day? Do you have any memories of that first match, against Bill DeMott, Hugh Morris? Did you know then that you had the potential to be something special? Or were you just going into that first match just kind of like, oh, well, here we go. Let's see if this works out?
Well, I mean, let's go back even further. Let's go to Manny Fernandez at Universal Studios when Jody Hamilton says, "Well, they're about to announce you. What do you want to be called?" And I said, "Well, call me the Hybrid." And he goes, "We can't call you the Hybrid because if you get merchandise, then there'll be a conflict." I said, "I'm not going to sell any merchandise. Just call me the Hybrid." He goes, "Well, how about Goldberg?" And I said, "Oh, hey, that's awesome." He goes, "What's your finish?" I said, "I don't know." He says, "Well, whatever you do, make it impactful." And so I go out there and I'm looking at Manny Fernandez and I said, "Manny, do you trust me?" And he goes, "Yeah." And I said, "Well, then when it comes time for the finish, tuck your chin and spread your legs and kiss your ass goodbye because just trust me." And I did that. I came in the back. Jody's eyes were like saucer dishes, and his mouth was open all the way to the ground. He goes, "Whatever you just did, you do that every single time." And hey man, I'm not going to be a guy who's cocky by any means, but here's the deal: if I'm going to do something, I'm going to try to be the best at it. And did I aspire to be the best? Absolutely. Did I think I was going to be? Absolutely not. But do you have the confidence in yourself to work as hard as humanly possible to try to be the best? Yeah, no doubt. So I always knew that with my work ethic and being in the right place at the right time, it's quite possible for me to succeed, but never in a million years did I have the wherewithal to be able to predict the path, that I took and the success that it incurred.
You talk about the past, but talk about your return, because you mentioned WCW, and a lot of the wrestlers that went, from WCW and went to the WWE did not go well. You had the return of all returns. I mean, here you are going into the Hall of Fame WrestleMania weekend, but, being Universal Champion, having that WrestleMania match with Brock Lesnar. Talk about that return for you. It was all a dream come true in that I was able to come back and try to vindicate the character in the WWE setting to the WWE fans. The first run was a bit tumultuous for many reasons, and to be able to come back 13 years removed and get an opportunity to get in front of the people who made you who you are and, ask for their acceptance again. And hey, man, I'll be honest with you. I mean, it was nerve-wracking. I didn't, I assumed everybody was going to boo me, So you have these
impressions about what's going to happen, but you never know. And so it's a mystery. And, you know, thank God it went well. And, you know, it was for all the right reasons, man. I mean, the character coming back at 50 years old had to have a chink in his armor because he was 50 years old, and I'm not 285 with you know, veins on my traps anymore. So the fact that my family was the storyline, which truly was the storyline in real life, was something that was needed. You know, it was the truth. I mean, I was able to come back and beat Bill for the first time. You know, now whether that worked in the setting, I guess it did. But, you know, I'll be forever grateful for guys like you and everybody else in the locker room for, you know, you didn't have a freaking choice, but, you know, you guys welcomed me with open arms. And, you know, at the end of the day, we're all a team. You know, as good as we all do, you know, one person does well, we all do well. And, you know, I've always been big believer of that, and you're only as good as your weakest link. And, you know, I'm not going to say I didn't skip a beat, but, you know, like I said, I came in and I was welcomed with open arms. And for that, I'll forever be indebted for Vince to agree to bring me back and for Brock to, you know, nudge him to do it. I mean, hey, man, again, right place at the right time.
Bill, you talked about how your first time you were in WWE, it was a little bit tumultuous. Can you share with us and the listeners what made it tumultuous at times? And is there anything now that you're more mature that you think that you would have done differently?
Oh, man, you know, I mean, I met with Vince before I signed with WCW. I went and against his wishes and signed with the Enemy. He obtains the Enemy 10 years later, and then I'm under the umbrella of the Enemy, who we've been fighting tooth and nail with for years, and now we find ourselves employed by that such entity, and it was just a different deal, you know. It was always us against them mentality. I hadn't been in the business very long. I really didn't know many people up at WWE by any means. So for me, it was always kind of like the Enemy, and I was going into enemy territory, and, you know, we'd done all these things to try to beat you guys throughout the years, and here we come, and we're under Vince's rule, and oh God, what's going to happen? And, you know, I was always on the defensive, kind of, you know, protect your character and, you know, try not to make waves. And hey, I got my own dressing room. It puts me out there front and center to be, you know, analyzed by everybody. And, you know, truth be told, I'm claustrophobic, man, and I got to have my own space. It's not that I feel like I'm special by any means. It's just, you know, it's what I got to have. So there were a number of things that put me behind the eight ball. I tried, you know, various times to bend over backwards to make it work. I think that my immaturity lended a lot to it not working from time to time, but it was a learning experience for me. I was learning on the job, and, you know, you guys have been in the business and knew it so long. For me, it was all foreign, you know, and so I had my defenses up, and it took me a while to, I don't know if I ever felt at home. I didn't feel at home until I went back, you know, really, to be honest with you. So it was a weird time, man. Very weird time. And I felt like everybody was against me, you know.
I can tell you from being in the locker room that time when you first came in that we weren't against you.
I know.
We were really happy that you guys were there, because when you're brought up in the wrestling business a certain way, you know exactly what you just said about the team mentality, and, you know, if you can make business, you know, better for us, you know, you were the biggest star that they had on the other side, and, you know, the guys in the locker room were excited to have you there. but because of the way you had been brought up in the business and with that more of a defensive attitude, I can totally understand why you would have felt the way you did the first time you came there and why the second time was that much more rewarding.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like I say, you know the business. You've been around the block. You know, you've seen it all. And for me, it was very overwhelming. You know, the success, the character, the way that WCW kind of massaged it, and then here I go over there, and God knows what's going to happen. And it's just a weird deal for me. You know, really strange. But I always felt like I was you know, you go to college and you know, you're a football player and you walk across campus and there's the frat house, you know, and the way that they look at you and the way that you feel when you look at them, that's how I felt when I went up there. It was weird. I ostracized myself is what it is, you know, and hey, at the end of the day, I've always just tried to be the best at what I've done. And I just wanted to be the best in that situation. And I think I was prohibiting myself from doing that. And, you know, hey, but like I said, you know, that just tells you again how lucky I was to be able to come back and make it right. You know, try to make it right, you know?
Well, talk about that comeback and to be able to have your son in attendance when you won the Universal Championship, that WrestleMania moment, and now going into the Hall of Fame. What was it like to be able to show your son everything that you were able to accomplish?
Hey, as a dad, I can't even eloquate it. I can't, because unless you're a father and you've been through something like that, you can't put it into words. And hey, Goldberg's a guy who eats people up. You know, I eat them up and I spit them out. And I'm the tough guy, and you know, but hey, man, I'm human too. And you know, it brought me to tears to see the joy in my son's eyes and my wife's eyes. It was a different deal. There was so much importance on its success this time around because it wasn't for me. You know, I've said 1,000,000 times, you know, it ain't about me. It wasn't about me for one of the first times ever. I was doing something where I didn't have my own best interest at heart because I wasn't doing it for me. I was doing it for a bigger cause. I was doing it for my son. I was doing it for my wife. And to be able to get the opportunity in real time to come back and make things right and show them what you did and have them be a part of it. And, you know, it's really hard to put into words. I mean, that opportunity is once in a lifetime. And I got it a couple times. And to be able to get it, you know, at that accelerated age and, you know, that time in my career and that time in my life as a father and as a husband, I mean, man, that is just the coolest thing ever. You can't put value on it. I mean, it's just, it's unbelievably cool. It just was the best time of my life. Hey, to be able to take that belt, to be able to take that title in my son's school.
Damn it, Bill! It's a championship. It's not a belt. The belt holds up your pants.
Belt holds up your pants. You know, to be able to do that, man. I mean, it's just speechless, brother. I mean, truly speechless. It was a dream come true.
When they told you were going to beat Brock in 90 seconds, was that a shock?
When Brock told me I was going to beat him in 90
seconds? Whoever told you, was it a huge shock?
Man, so they swerved me, right? So we get there and, you know, we're supposed to go over things and then the stage is set and we're going to go this way and that way and this way. And you know what? Forget it. Just 1, 2, boom, boom, it's over. And I'm like, what? What did you say? You know, I mean, hey, like I said, to be able to come back and lose or win or whatever, be on that stage is one thing, but to be able to come back and, you know, kind of do the swerve thing and see the reaction of people and then to be asked to stay a little bit longer. And you know, Spielberg couldn't have written it any better.
Well, talk more about WrestleCon. Like I said, April 6th through the 8th at the Sheraton, New Orleans. Over 200 wrestlers going to be in attendance. Talk a little about WrestleCon and what it's going to be like to be around your peers one more time.
It's awesome. It's like the locker room, and you miss that. I was talking to Mark Coleman last night, and you guys know who Coleman is, right?
Yep.
Those guys are like us. They miss being on that stage. They miss performing. They miss having their hand raised. But they also miss the camaraderie of their peers. And that, truthfully, is the biggest thing that they miss. And it's a void once you've left competitive wrestling, any type of sport where it's a team sport. When you're taken out of that setting, that void needs to be filled, and it's tough to find something, to replace that, and to be able to come back and feel that again, man. It was surreal, truly was.
Again, Bill Goldberg being inducted into the 2018 WWE Hall of Fame. And again, part of WrestleCon, April 6th through the 8th at the Sheraton, New Orleans. Bill, it's been an absolute pleasure being able to talk to you.
It's an honor, guys, truly. And Bully, man, big pat on the back, a big hug to you, man. I'm very proud of you. And like I said, honored to, be able to share the stage with you. And it's going to be a wonderful night, man. It truly is.
I appreciate that, and all the same to you. I am genuinely happy for you, and you can tell how excited you are by the smile on your face. The last time I saw you, it was me, you, and the Steiners, and you look so genuinely happy and relaxed. So congratulations to you, your family, and enjoy every last minute of it, because we're going to have a lot of fun.
You got it, my brother. Congrats again. Big hug to you, and love you, man. And see you in 20-something days, and let's knock the house down.
We'll try. Thanks, bro. Take care. Thank you for coming on.
You got it, buddy. Be good, guys.